Welcome everyone. My name is Michael Cesara. I'm a Director of Client Services here at Jade Global and specialize in our EPM BI practice. I have over 18 years experience working in finance and with EPM products and happy to discuss our topic today around Hyperion Workforce Planning and integrating with Workday, PeopleSoft HCM, and Oracle HR. The following is intended for information purposes only and may not be incorporated into any contract. It is not a commitment to deliver any services, material, code, or functionality and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. A little bit about Jade. Jade Global is based in San Jose, California, and has been partnering with over 100 plus companies since 2004. With over 300 employees worldwide in 6 offices, we specialize in Oracle consulting and are currently an Oracle Platinum partner. Our agenda today is a general overview of Hyperion Workforce Planning, its framework, and working together with your HRMS. Design consideration and optional approaches. Discussion of Jade Global's Workforce Planning Accelerator and how it can help shorten your development time. What's new in Hyperion Release 11.123 and SmartView 11.125, mostly patch catch-up releases, but there are a couple of technical consolidations around integration. So what is Hyperion Workforce Planning? Workforce Planning is an industry-leading technology that was born from the old Hyperion Pillar planning tool. When you first purchase Hyperion Planning, there are a couple options around some additional modules like Workforce Planning, Capital Asset Planning, Public Sector, Integrated Operational Planning, and even Margins Planning. But let's focus today on Workforce Planning, which centers around headcount, salary, and compensation. And actually in this release, there are some additional new modules around tax provisioning and project planning. All these modules give you a kickstart and have predefined dimensions and forms to support those financial processes. The Hyperion Workforce Planning module helps plan costs associated with your people costs, like salary, fringe, and other employee-related expenses. This module is fully configurable and designed to work with your current processes, and even has a series of workflow-related features. We recommend that you start with the out-of-box pre-built functionality, as it has ready-to-go logic, forms, and you don't have to worry about starting from ground zero. Hyperion Planning is designed to help manage your financial forecasting and budgeting with a series of tools to pull and push data, metadata, from your GL data sources like Oracle, PeopleSoft, and other GL systems. Those custom modules are designed to help gather and calculate input from 1 to thousands of users via either the Excel add-in called SmartView or a web client to help with those folks that are just more casual users. So the planning architecture is comprised of 3 layers. Data sources, which is where your data lives for Oracle and other ERP systems, perhaps a data warehouse, maybe data that's been staged for bookings, billings, and backlog. We use that quite a bit here in high tech, and potentially other EPM applications like Hyperion Financial Management, Strategic Finance, and last but not least, your HRMS from systems like PeopleSoft, Workday, or Oracle HR. And there are some other HRMS systems out there too. Hyperion Planning is a web architected layer that is where you manage the various custom modules, P&L, which is usually based on companies, departments, your GL accounts, and metrics. Hyperion Planning is where you customize your workflow based on how you manage your forecast. There's also a very robust calculation engine to help build various calculations, KPIs, and even build out driver-based types of calculations, perhaps around headcount or even square footage. The last layer is our user interface. This is where you do your input via the web-based forms or even in SmartView, which resides in Excel, to do your forecast input. The most compelling factor of this last layer for finance teams is finance teams typically live in Excel. And also, it works with the Microsoft Office products, so you can use it for PowerPoint presentations and even Word documents. With the SmartView add-in, you have full access to Hyperion Planning, SBase, HFM, all the other products, and even OBIE. The nice thing about having the add-in is there's no need to copy or paste values any longer. The ability for you now is given for you to have full control over your planning and your actual reporting. And you don't have to worry about going back and forth between your ERP and those other reporting tools. So the heart of financial planning and in this exercise is around the GL accounts, the entity, company, department, cost center, and possibly a channel or region depending on your type of application. The other standard dimensions are typically scenario, which represents actuals and budget, version, which could be your first cut or final, year, which FY14, 15 going forward, and also your current years, and also period, which is months, which typically come from quarters and years. Also, in some cases, multinational companies do planning in local currency and then translate to US dollars or some other functional currency. Now let's focus on workforce planning and its application and its typical dimensions. They're similar to your P&L, but in this situation, you now have a dimension called employee. And in this newer version, they actually added a new dimension for job. It's unique to workforce planning, and it is an example here of, you can see there's no channel designation due to the nature of the people data. Usually you don't have people data by channel. Then once you get the data at that employee level, which is really important to get at that lowest level, that's where you can really get the bang for your buck. It is then aggregated in workforce planning and then copied right away into your financial P&L application if you so desire. So design considerations and HR folks and finance folks working together. We do highly recommend that you talk to your HRMS counterparts in HR. They should be a part of the project phase, whether it's a new implementation or even an upgrade and a re-implementation of your Hyperion project at your company. You really need to get the buy-in from the HR folks and discuss the pros and the cons of pulling very sensitive information like salaries. You also might hear the term PII, which stands for Personally Identifiable Information. This is very important. This mostly focuses on two classes of employee data and usually is broken up by public PII, which represents your first and last name, your address, your work phone and cell phone numbers and things like that, email addresses. Those are things that are public and usually out in the public domain. But then there's a class called protected PII. And protected PII is there's usually a policy around this, but some typical PII types of data points would be Social Security number, of course, username and password, maybe a passport number, credit card numbers, of course, if you had any, clearances, banking information, biometrics, date of birth, and even things such as a mother's maiden name and even your educational transcripts. Those are all considered protected PII. The fact of the matter is we're not going to be asking for any of that information. No protected PII will be asked. The data that you most likely be asking for is the person's name, probably their first and last name, an employee ID to help them make that record unique, their annual salary, of course, job grade and description if you need to track those types of data points, and also their start and term date and any other fields that you feel help to manage your planning around your people data. We typically see pushback, though, from the folks in HR. It's just the sensitive nature of the data. HR folks are very guarded. They really don't want to, have that data out there, and rightfully so. They want to be very careful with it. It's going to be your job, though, to enforce the fact that the data will be very secure in Hyperion, and only folks in finance, the financial analysts and managers are going to have access to the data. And we can even have data access down to a very low level, whatever level you would like. Typically, we see that in the department level. The other key discussion that you need to think about in terms of design considerations and when you're going through the development process is around dummy data. We don't recommend that you use live data in your QA, dev, or test environments even. You might be able to use it in test as long as you can ensure that the security is the same as it is in production. So now let's look at HRMS, the design of PeopleSoft, Workday, and Oracle HR. As you can see, these are the building blocks I'll be working with today. And we're going to focus our attention in terms of the potential design for Hyperion Planning and working together with HRMS and the EPM framework. The solution is broken up into 3 layers. At the heart of the solution is what we call EPMA, or Enterprise Performance Management Architect. This tool is designed to help manage your metadata and helps get that data from sources like Oracle EBS, PeopleSoft HCM, or even the PeopleSoft ERP system it's integrated with. And you can even pull data from SAP BW. The EPMA Dimension Library is used to store and manage those employee and non-employee types of accounts. Second, let's now look at the data sources. There's a number of sources. Today we're going to focus on HRMS, of course, and typically we see Workday, which is we're seeing that more and more every day, Oracle HR, and also the PeopleSoft HCM. Typically Workday and Oracle HR, these are 2 potential sources, but what we're tending to see there is the integration with those is not covered directly in ERPI and FDM, which has now been called FDME, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But that's the one place that we can really help. The experience that we have in terms of what we've built in terms of the accelerator is built around custom situations with Workday and Oracle HR data. Now, when we talk about PeopleSoft as a data source in terms of HCM, there is built-in functionality. When you do purchase FDME, which is a combination, like I was saying, of the old FDM product, and sometimes you call it FDQM, and then ERPI. Those technologies have now been bundled together and are called FDME, and that's actually been combined in this version of 11.123. And you can choose to go and use FDME, or you can manually build those dimension tables if you want. It's really up to you and your process and how you want to automate things. It's completely up to you. But at the end of the day, you're going to probably be pulling that data either directly from those data sources and putting them into staging tables. We recommend using staging tables because we believe that's a good place to keep a nice history of what's going on. A lot of people in the beginning use flat files. There's nothing wrong with flat files, but that's really a choice that you need to make. But we recommend using staging tables. Then once you have that data either in your staging tables or via loading it into your flat files, and you can even take the flat files and load them into your staging tables, you then have the ability to automate this process. And you can use the tools around EPMA to do that. And it's very, very handy the way that EPMA is designed to work and automate those processes. And then last but not least is the Jade Workforce Planning Accelerator. We believe this is our secret sauce. We have built this over the last couple of years based on applications that we've put together for other clients, and we believe that at the end of the day, this accelerator will really help get your workforce planning data working together and getting it nicely integrated with your planning solution. So at the end of the day, our goal is really to help have a seamless integration between your HRMS and Hyperion Planning, and using sources, whether it's Oracle, PeopleSoft, whether it's Oracle HR or even Workday or Vista. There's a number of other products out there. At the end of the day, our experts have the ability and have worked with these other HRMS applications to integrate those into the framework that we've built up around the accelerator. So let's talk a little bit about the Workforce Planning Accelerator. So Jade Global's Workforce Planning Accelerator is built, like I was saying before, over the course of time and clients that we've worked with in the past. It does use the FDME, which was a combination of what I said before, which is FDM, ODI, and ERP together now, ERPI. And like I said before, that directly works with PeopleSoft HCM, and there are hooks there, and there's also hooks, by the way, for Oracle EBS. So if you wanted to push budget data into Oracle EBS, you can also use FDME to do that. Or if you wanted to pull metadata from Oracle or even PeopleSoft ERP, you can do that. The other part of this solution is around a custom solution that we've built, and the idea is we've built it on the framework of using .NET and using web services and those calls that go into Workday to pull that data. So that accelerator is designed to do that for you and then load it into the staging tables and then be consumed by the EPMA system, EPMA architect, and then we'll process that and deploy that into your cubes. Like I was saying before, this is built up over our experience and also the experience of our developers. We used it creating best-in-breed types of software development tools, .NET, Java, you name it. We also have part of that solution. There's a custom piece to it around handling planning currency. And what does that mean? So what we've seen at a number of clients is sometimes clients, large multinational clients, as an example, let's say you're doing operations in Switzerland. Well, those folks live pretty close to the border of France, and some of them might get paid in Swiss francs, or they might get paid in euros. So how do you handle that when you pull that data out of your HRMS? So what we've done is we've designed some custom solutions to help handle multiple pay currencies and handling that so you can process that into the system. At the end of the day, we believe that Jade Global's Workforce Planning Accelerator was designed as a tool to really help you save time. So in summary, we understand that the integration between HRMS and workforce planning is critical to your planning and budgeting needs. And we believe that working with Jade Global's EPM team will help provide the best-in-breed solution using not only Oracle Hyperion EPM tools, but also Jade Global's Workforce Planning Accelerator. This design approach should also provide you a shorter admin time, so when you're processing your cube and say you're doing updates of your people data, maybe on even a monthly basis, or whenever you need to, that's going to help save you time and help process your people data. So now let's talk a little bit about what's new in Oracle EPM Hyperion Planning 11.1.2.3. So I've broken some of the new components out by planning and EPM and reporting. So let's first talk about Hyperion Planning. So in this version, you now have the ability to pull what we call ASO cubes, and that stands for aggregate storage. That's a cube design that allows you to have a lot more dimensions. And compared to BSO or block storage, BSO tends to be you're somewhat limited in terms of the number of dimensions, whereas ASO you can definitely bump up the number of dimensions compared to BSO. Also, for workforce and the capital asset modules, you now have the ability to add members on the fly. We never used to be able to do that. Also in Workforce, like I previously said, they've now added a new job dimension. So you now have job as a dimension out of the box. The capital module now has a revenue component, so if you want to do revenue modeling for capital projects. Also around workflow, they've added a new task list type, which is descriptive, just to kind of help document some of those descriptions along the way. Something they've added in planning this time around is around what we call the planning provider, which is the technology that works for planning and gives you that visibility into Smart View. You now have what's called a dimension view, so you can actually view your dimensions in planning. Before you couldn't do that, you'd have to go into member selection. This time you actually have a dimensional viewer so you can see what the dimensionality looks like. And also this is so part of a lot of the initiatives that Oracle's moving forward with is having their technology in the cloud, and planning is now available in the cloud, and is the first product of the EPM suite to be available in the cloud. So around EPM, or some of the technology and administrative functions, there has been improved integration with Hyperion Strategic Finance, and also HPCM, which is our Hyperion Profitability and Cost Management System. There's been improvements around on the admin side around logging, and so there's now an Oracle diagnostic logging tool, which actually is very cool. And also they've created some additional cross versions. So if you're in a lower version of EPM and you want to go to a higher version, they now have added some functionality on the LCM side, which is lifecycle management, to give you some additional support, so it's a little bit more useful for prior versions. So on the reporting and integration side, around Hyperion Financial Reports, there's now been, the functionality is now there to support any type of mobile initiative. Also some simple things, you wouldn't think it would be a big deal, but actually it is. Actually being able to have a cover page for books or reports, and also improvements around some of the grid formats. The other continuation of what Oracle has been doing is integrating OBIE and Essbase together. In the old days, these used to be competing technologies. Well, OBI used to be the old Siebel Analytics product, and Hyperion was the EPM product suite. Well, those things are coming together, and now you're going to have direct and improved access to OBIE as long as you're on version 11.117 or 11.1171. This will help you to actually view and consume any of the OBIE metadata parts that are in OBI into SmartView and into the entire EPM framework. The other major part of this upgrade is around integration. And what they've effectively done in this version is we've now have a new product called Financial Data Management Enterprise Edition, or FDMEE, and that's built around the FDM, ODI, and ERPI technology. And they've combined those together into one single solution. And now it not only works with, like I was saying, PeopleSoft and Oracle EBS. And on the PeopleSoft side, it's not only just the HCM side of it, but it's also the ERP side of it. And also SAP BW, it has a available data source in this version, and also has an improved integration, and now integration with DRM, which is Data Relationship Management. DRM, for those of you who are interested, we can always talk to you a little bit more about DRM. DRM is definitely a very nice tool. It's probably designed for larger organizations that need workflow and the ability to manage any metadata changes, and it has a lot of nice features around workflow, and having that as kind of your center of your universe around metadata is definitely a very nice option. So at the end of the day, we believe that the best thing for you to do is to talk to us about these potential improvements, and we do have an advisory services part of our practice where we can discuss those new features and see what they mean to your organization and come up with an action plan. So SmartView, this is actually interesting. This is the first time they've kind of broke from ranks in terms of the numbering, but actually the new number on this one is 11.125. As you can see, it seems to be level setting a number of different versions that are out there, and you can see those version numbers there. It also supports Windows 8. And what they've done for the executable for SmartView in terms of installation is they've combined the 32 and the 64-bit. Those used to be separate. They're now together in one .exe, so that's going to give you a little bit better foundation to build from in terms of maybe some of your silent installations, and you only have to worry about having one exe. It also gave some additional features around language settings and regional settings, so those are kind of baked into the solution now as far as the installation. It also supports MS Office 2013, either the 32 or the 64-bit version, and also supports versions from MS Office 2007 and higher. Also, in this version of SmartView, they now work with what we call HSF, which is Hyperion Strategic Finance. So you're now able to expose any models that you've created in Strategic Finance in SmartView. And then, once again, now SmartView can be used to access OBIE datasets, which is wonderful. So if you have any models, subject areas that you've built up in OBIE, you can now see those in SmartView. I think that's a great addition that Oracle has put together, and I think is a step in the right direction. So at the end of the day, Jade is a company that specializes in EPM, and we have other parts of our practice around Oracle EBS and Salesforce.com. But the EPM practice, we do have advisory services. We do have our practice is broken up. We do have some folks on the team that are specialists in terms of budgeting and planning, also around HFM and financial management and consolidation. We also have expertise in the new module around integrated operational planning. And also part of our practice, we do have expertise on the reporting side and the various reporting tools that are available, whether it's FR, which is Hyperion Financial Reports, even interactive reporting, which is the old Brio product, but the whole breadth in terms of the various reporting tools that are available. Last but not least, we do offer support and maintenance and can be your partner in crime, if you will. We do have managed services on a 24/7 basis and are currently working with a number of clients to support their Hyperion day-to-day operations on a go-forward basis to augment their onshore and offshore types of folks. So I wanted to thank everyone for your time today. We really do appreciate your time, and here's a list of some phone numbers and some ways to contact us. Certainly you can contact us on the web. There's our URL. We're obviously also in a number of social media venues, and I appreciate your time, and thank you, and have a great day.